I'm Florence Dowrick, a MajorTim.space honorary young ambassador, and this is Ellie Taylor-Brewin, a MajorTim.space young ambassador. Today, we are going to be interviewing Katherine Mathieson, the director of the Royal Institution. Katherine, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi there, great to be here. I'm Katherine Mathieson. I'm director at the Royal Institution.
Thank you, Katherine. You became the director of the Royal Institution in 2022. What drew you to this organisation, and how did you envision your role when you started?
Well, I was really excited to join the team at the Royal Institution because it's an organisation that I've known about for a long time. I think the most famous activity is the Christmas lectures that we do every year in partnership with the BBC, and the lectures go out on TV between Christmas and New Year, and then they go out on YouTube as well afterwards. So I had known about that, and it just really looked up to the team who brought that project together. I think it's a really great example of how scientists have amazing stories to tell about the work that they do, space scientists and astronomers and engineers and people who work in roles like that. And I just wanted to help tell the stories of the fantastic work that they get to do. So, and then when I joined the Royal Institution, I discovered that there was a lot more activities as well as the Christmas lectures. So we have school-aged young people visiting every day to work in our Young Scientist Centre, for example, and then we do activities for families all year round. So there's loads more going on than I think I realised, and so it's been a lot of fun working with the teams to do that work. So I was really excited.
Yeah.
Could you discuss the history of the Royal Institution, the reason why it was founded in 1799, and whether the institution's purpose has remained the same or evolved over its 200-year existence?
That's a great question, Ellie. So I would say that the Royal Institution's purpose has remained exactly the same since the institution was founded in 1799. And in 1799, the world was quite different. So most children didn't really go to school. There was no such thing as a scientist. It wasn't like a job you could do. People who were interested in what we'd now call science were usually called natural philosophers. And so it was a really different world. And there were a number of people who were really excited about being natural philosophers and discovering all these amazing things about the natural world and the world around us. And they wanted to share that knowledge and the joy of getting to that knowledge with lots of other people. And so they founded the Royal Institution, and they bought a house in the middle of London, we're still there now, so you can still come and see us in, it doesn't really look like a house anymore. It looks like a science house. So it's full of scientists, and we have this amazing theatre that you see on the TV, the Christmas lectures. And we've been there in London sharing science with other people who are interested in science for 226 years now. So the purpose is the same. The purpose that they wrote at the time in 1799 was written into the Royal Charter that we got in 1800. It says we want to share science for the common purposes of life. And so that's still true today. We still talk about science for the common purposes of life. The science has changed a lot. So that's changed a lot in 226 years, but our purpose hasn't changed. What has changed, I think, is the formats and the platforms that we use to share that science. So we do a lot more online than we used to, for example. That didn't really exist in 1799. We have one of the most popular science YouTube channels, for example, and we're on lots of other social media platforms. So the formats that we use have changed quite a lot, but not the purpose. That's exactly the same.
How has your background in public engagement influenced your approach at the Royal Institution?
Great question. My background is in public engagement and in science communication. So I hang out with a lot of scientists. I talk to lots of scientists, but I'm really interested in what people want to know from the scientists, what the kind of the public perspective or the youth perspective might be on that subject. So I feel like I'm really on the boundary between scientists and everyone else, and trying to help people have really good conversations across that boundary. And that's been my passion, I think, since I was roughly the age that you are now. And it feels amazing to me that I've been able to find a job which is all about that passion, that kind of that act of communicating science. That feels really exciting.
The Royal Institution Christmas Lectures will celebrate their 200th anniversary this year. The lectures have covered a great variety of subjects. Who selects the topic and speaker each year, and which has been your favourite series to date?
So my favourite series is going to be this year's series. I've decided because it's 200 years of Christmas lectures. They were started in 1825, which was a time before most children even went to school. So the opportunities to learn about science and the natural world were quite limited. So this is officially going to be my favourite year. We've got an amazing speaker, a woman called Maggie Adarin Pocock, which some of you might know because she does a lot of talks in schools. She's an incredible, inspirational space scientist, and she wants to share that kind of joy of being interested in space her whole life, and being able to share that with young people across the UK and around the world is just going to be incredible for her. She's really committed to that. And in particular, I think she wants to talk about how it is we know so much about space. So not just what do we know, but how do we find that out? What are the instruments and the satellites and the telescopes that have led to this knowledge, and what's going on right now? So Maggie herself has worked on the James Webb Space Telescope. So she's going to, well, I don't know what she's going to say actually, but I hope she's going to talk about some of that experience, what it was like to design a groundbreaking telescope and then to see the data coming back from that. And she's going to talk, I think, about some of the telescopes and the instruments that are being designed and built right now, ready for the next generation of astronomers and space scientists. So I think it's going to be quite future focused, which will be really exciting, hopefully, for the audience. But you know, some of the talks, some of the Christmas lectures from years ago are still really fun to watch. You know, Carl Sagan's kind of classic. This is like the 1970s, and he's talking about astronomy and space science. I guess when you go back that far, some of what the scientists say is wrong, but it was what they thought at the time, and that's quite interesting to see how far we've come and what we know that's different. You know, if you go back and people talk about Pluto being a planet, for example, it's a bit different now. So I think you can go back and watch all the classic ones on the YouTube channel as well, the ones that were filmed. And so they're all good in their own way, in a different way. The way we choose the speakers, though, that is a really popular question, and it's because we try and get a topic that's going to be really interesting to the audience. So maybe there's a lot of new research, or maybe it comes up a lot in the kinds of questions that children and young people might ask about science. And then we want to get a lecturer, a speaker who's really good as well, really kind of exciting to listen to and has some great ideas. We try and do lots of experiments and demonstrations as part of the lectures. And so we want somebody who's really going to think of some great ideas for big demonstrations, really messy or exciting or elegant demonstrations that haven't been done before. So if you have any suggestions, you should let me know. That'd be great for the future.
Who do you invite to the Royal Institution lectures? Is it just members of the Royal Institution, or do you invite any VIPs as well?
Oh, we invite lots of people. That's very popular. So we do have lots of members, Royal Institution members in the audience, and we do have some VIPs as well. The tickets go on sale quite soon. So to be in the lecture theatre while we're actually doing the filming, the tickets will go on sale in October for that. So keep an eye out for that. But even when we fit as many people as possible into the theatre, like every seat, that's still only about 400 people. So we are quite limited. The theatre can only fit so many people in. And so we work with partner organisations across the UK, and they have a live stream of the filming. So they're watching it just at exactly the same time that the people in the theatre are watching it. So if an experiment goes wrong, they watch it go wrong as well. The bits that get cut out for the TV, you know, if you're watching the live stream, you see all of it. And that's quite exciting. So we've got a partnership with Armagh Planetarium, for example, in Northern Ireland. We've got one with in Aberdeen, with the University of Warwick in Warwick. So dotted all around the UK are these live stream partners, and so you can, even if you can't come into London or the theatre is totally full, even I'm not allowed to sit in the theatre and watch it. Like, we want to make sure every space is taken up with with a young person, because that's our target audience for the Christmas lectures. But you can watch it in these other live stream venues across the UK, so that's worth looking out for as well. So lots of opportunities to participate.
Roughly how many people watch the lectures online and on TV, and has this increased over the years?
Yeah, great question. So the number of people who watched the Christmas lectures on TV last year was about 3 million, just over 3 million. And then when they go onto YouTube afterwards, like, lots and lots more people pick them up there. So millions of people usually watch each season, maybe not straight away, but ultimately. So we know that the Christmas lectures reach lots and lots of people. Being able to put them online means that we can reach even more people for longer. Like, if you could only see them on TV on the day that they were being broadcast, if you were busy that day, you would miss it. And that's what it used to be like. And now we have the ability on iPlayer and online to watch them afterwards. And so that's great that you can go back and you can watch them again as well if you like them super much.
Can you share a moment during your time at the Royal Institution that felt particularly impactful or meaningful to you?
Yeah, well, I love meeting people who come to the Royal Institution or come to our online spaces and hearing what their experience is. I think that's one of my favourite things. We've got a programme called Masterclasses, which is for young people who are particularly interested in maths or in computer science. And they can come to a series of Saturday morning masterclasses, either at the Royal Institution or with one of our partner organisations across the UK. And what I love is coming into the first masterclass of a series where there might be about 25 young people and they've never met before, right? They don't know each other. And they're a bit nervous about being in an unfamiliar space, and what's it going to be like, and all of this. And then I love coming to the last one 6 weeks later, where all the young people have made friends with each other and they're all really passionate about, maybe they want to stay in touch, maybe they want to share more maths or computer science that they've really enjoyed, and it really feels like you watch a community come together and you watch young people's interests in those subjects really come alive. And I think that experience is always hugely impactful for me. I really love it. It's a really good example of the kind of thing we're trying to do at the Royal Institution, encourage people to share their interest and their joy in these subjects.
The Christmas lectures are broadcast each year, with the exception of being paused from 1939 to 1942 during World War II. The Royal Institution's Christmas lectures were first televised on the BBC in 1936, where they made up 20 minutes of the day's 2-hour broadcast, which makes them the oldest televised science series. How is the lecture series financed, and who prepares the demonstrations, ensuring they run smoothly and as planned during the recording?
The history of the Christmas lectures is amazing, isn't it? Imagine being on the TV in 1936 when there was only 2 hours of TV. Like, that was the only screen time that anybody got in the whole of the country, was 2 hours of TV, and everyone had to watch the same thing. I mean, that was just like, it's a different world, isn't it? And so for the Royal Institution Christmas lectures to be part of that, like 2 hours of screen time per day, was really, we were really fortunate. And the Christmas lectures have been broadcast on TV every year reliably since the 60s. So lots, it's been going a long time. And one of the secrets to the Christmas lectures is having an amazing team of people who can do great demonstrations. So we call them the demos team. And they've been part of the Royal Institution since it started. Different people, obviously, over that time. But they say it's the best job in the world, like coming to work and trying to figure out how to make an even messier explosion than you did yesterday, or like, how do you do some cool demo with electricity that's going to help people understand electricity a bit better, or how do you do, we're obviously talking quite a lot about space at the moment, some cool demos with space. Last year's topic was food, so all of the demos were really messy, really kind of gooey and gloopy and slimy, and so that was a lot of fun. And those demos team, they're really creative. So they have to know a bit about science, and they have to be quite good, to be able to build things with their hands, be good in a workshop. They have to be good at risk assessments, because some of the chemicals are a bit dangerous or a bit flammable or whatever. But ultimately, it's an act of creativeness trying to design this great demo. And so that team is really important to the way that Christmas lectures happens. And we get the funding from a mixture of places. So some of the members help us, and we work with partners who really care about the Christmas lectures and want to help make it better. So we're working with a company called CGI at the moment, and they have lots of people who do computing and maths, subjects like that, whose jobs are all about computing and maths, and a lot of them watched the Christmas lectures when they were younger, and it really inspired them, and so they want to help us do a great job of making great Christmas lectures and spreading the word even further. And so I know that although there's lots of young people and their families watching the Christmas lectures, I also know that all of the people who work for CGI are watching them at the same time, which is really nice.
How far in advance do you select the speaker and topic? Do you already know who will deliver the 2026 lectures?
I do not know who will deliver the 2026 lectures. So if you've got ideas, you should make sure you send them to me, because we want to make sure that it's a topic that people are talking about and care about at the time. So if we choose 3 or 4 years ahead, then maybe the topic's not very interesting when it's time to actually make the Christmas lectures. So we try and be kind of relevant to what's going on in the world. And we need to get a really exciting topic, and we also need to get a really great speaker. They need to be really good. It's really hard to prepare 3 hours of a kind of original lecture talk with new demos. So much work. It's really intensive. And sometimes we ask people and they say, oh, I'd love to do it, but I'm really, really busy, or I'd love, I'm a bit scared to do it. Thanks very much. No, thanks. But usually when we ask people, they're so delighted to be part of such a kind of long-standing and exciting project that they're just delighted. And then they have to tell all the other people that they're supposed to be working for that they're too busy doing the Christmas lectures and they have to go away for a bit. So yeah, ideas welcome, please.
This is our last question. What advice would you give to young people looking to lead in fields of science communication or public engagement?
My advice to young people who would like to lead in the fields of public engagement and science communication is to do as much of it as you can, right? So this channel is a great example. This platform is a great example. You are amazing science communicators, both of you, and I know that there's a team as well. And I would say get your hands stuck in, watch stuff online and decide if you think it's good or it's not good. Make your own social media content about science, the things that you love, the things that you think are important, and get it out there. And that will all help you decide how to tell a great story with a different audience, so maybe you want to make kind of stuff that's really exciting for primary age kids, you want to share the love with them, or maybe you want to make quite kind of serious and thought-provoking stuff, so that you can tell your MPs about it, or the teachers at school, or whatever it is. So different approaches work really well with different groups of people, and it's by finding out, trying it yourself, that you find some of that out. Also, the number of platforms has just grown, right? It used to be that you could be a science communicator by writing books and writing newspaper articles, and that was it. It was all words. Then maybe you could make some TV programs and films. Now you're making social media. Maybe you want to do a podcast. Lots and lots of different formats available, and they all need a slightly different approach. So the more science communication content you make, the more you will understand how that works. And then that'll be the starting point to an amazing career in science communication.
Thank you so much for coming here and talking to us.
You're really welcome. It's been great to meet you both, and I wish you both the very best for the future.
All the same for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.